In the virtual universe, Thunder Island, Luo Feng sat in the study of his palace. A large screen that was suspended in midair listed detailed information about the latest updates on Skyflower Knight's movements and the coordinates of his current whereabouts. Original star number 02933. Luo Feng revealed a trace of a smile. Skyflower Knight seems to be having quite a few rewarding years recently. Just based on what great beings of various races have heard, he obtained a senior true treasure and close to 10 ordinary true treasures. Skyflower Knight, if you have taken these true treasures back to where your demon clan is, then count yourself lucky. If not, all of these shall be mine. His consciousness may have been connected to the virtual universe, but the moment Luo Feng's original earthling body caught wind of the news, he left Redbud Island immediately. He used God Country transportation and returned to his God Country. This was because he needed to bring his golden horn beast body with him. This time around, we are going to the original star. Original star, where even universe masters and universe supreme beings are unable to teleport, and within it, even if I were to be discovered, or the other races are after my life, I will still have to fly slowly. Luo Feng nodded to himself. At other places, the moment his whereabouts were discovered, his enemies might appear very soon, but on the original star, it would be difficult for them to reach him that quickly. But that is still an original star. This is a place where billions of great beings gather. I must stay vigilant. This concerns my battle to fame. Luo Feng would be giving his all. With golden horn beast and Masha bodies, he started making his way to the original star. First, Luo Feng entered original star number 03921. In the star, he flew alone for about half a day, then reached the whirlpool leading to original star number 02933. After deliberation, he discovered that this was the fastest way of arriving at this original star. In the sky above the vast ocean of original star number 02933 was a gigantic whirlpool tunnel, and a burly, flaming figure flew through it at that moment. He was around 30 feet tall and black all over, and every inch of his godly body was spurting flames periodically. I have reached the original star. Luo Feng looked at his flaming body and laughed. He was in the form of his Masha body as he rushed his way here and had allowed his Masha body to display its talent technique of replication, where it replicated a certain universe overlord out of the various special life forms under Blood Cloud Palace's command. The other universe overlords had their merits too, but a universe overlord sporting just one head with a pair of hands and legs was hard to come by. Luo Feng was still used to human form. Behind him, he carried a long battle sword that was around 18 feet long. This true treasure sword was none other than Bohi. So, with his blade behind him, the burly, flaming body swept across space at high speed, flew across the ocean, and arrived at an area that consisted of more lands. Then he flew high in the skies, enveloping a vast swamp area. He continued flying for around a day when he started to approach a location with coordinates provided by Guangzhou Knight. It should be here. Although he had been in flight for a whole day, Luo Feng was still unsettled at heart. Luo Feng started to slow down while observing his surroundings. Guangzhou Knight had provided him with the coordinates of Skyflower Knight's whereabouts discovered by a great being from the Han Alliance, but that had been discovered 3 days ago. After 3 days, there were bound to be changes. He watched carefully along the way. After half an hour, Luo Feng landed in a small lake within the swamp. The moment his feet touched the water's surface, the flames encircling his ankles created hissing, chi sounds as the flames were distinguished and smoke started to rise from the lake water. Nothing? Yes, not here. Luo Feng frowned. I have scoured the entire area of this domain, but still, I do not see Skyflower Knight. So, Luo Feng soared high into the sky, and into the extreme limits of space. Then he regained flying at a high speed as he started conducting another round of search on a much larger scale. After all, it had only been 3 days since the great being from the Han Alliance had spotted Skyflower Knight. In those 3 days, Skyflower Knight would not have time to leave this original star. He had to still be in the area. Luo Feng expanded his area of search in a circular manner. When he was half an hour into his search, he suddenly detected a unique aura approaching and spreading out in all directions. This threw Luo Feng, who was preoccupied with his search, off guard in surprise. He had been roaming and wandering about the original stars, so he was experienced enough to be able to tell that this was the aura of an emerging treasure. What a strong aura, said Luo Feng. Very strong. It must be a true treasure, and possibly a senior true treasure. To think I came here in search for Skyflower Knight and have coincidentally been met with the birth of a true treasure. Luo Feng laughed. Then his eyes lit up. That's right, discovering the birth of a true treasure. If I have sensed it, then Skyflower Knight will discover it too. If he is in the vicinity, then he will be rushing over as fast as he can, ha ha ha. So, Luo Feng made an arc in the sky as he changed course to head off toward where the source of aura was detected, flying at breakneck speed. As the aura started to spread, those who were nearer to where the birth had taken place would naturally discover it first. It's a true treasure. It must be the birth of a senior true treasure. Quick! Let us hurry over. Such a strong true treasure aura. Quick! As fast as we can. We will earn a fortune if we can get it. Let us hope we are the first to make it there. Those who were slightly further away were late to discover it. Yet regardless of earlier or later, countless teams of knights from top powers of the universe as well as lone wanderers such as universe overlords and top-tier universe overlords all rushed over to the source of the aura as fast as they could. Haha! My luck is good. I managed to chance upon the birth of a senior true treasure. This aura is definitely one of a senior true treasure. Exuding an overbearing bloody aura, this great being grinned. He was of a race that sported a huge, blood-red eye vertically in the middle of his face, was covered with snow-white hair, and walked with a crooked back. He was none other than Skyflower Knight, a sky wolf who once managed to soul transfer with a special life form. Previously, to trade for true treasure White Needle, I contributed almost all of my other true treasures to the race, he said. How poor I am. Now that a senior true treasure has emerged from him. The more powerful the true treasure, the slower its birth will be. By the time I rush over, I think it may not have fully emerged. This treasure is mine. Skyflower Knight gave a shrill laugh. At the same time, he transformed into light and dashed toward the source of the aura. Teams, lone wanderers, or small groups of 3s and 5s all rushed over to the source of the aura. Hong! Hong! A crazy surge of energy spread outward in all directions in a wave. Luo Feng had not reached the destination but could already feel the strong energy waves spreading. Seems like the battle has already begun for this true treasure, thought Luo Feng. At this moment, remote Ocean-S consciousness, which was constantly connected to the virtual universe, received a message Quan Zhou Knight had just sent over. Blade River! Blade River! Original star number 02933, which was the location of the coordinates I have previously provided you with. There is fighting going on at a location not far from that place. There are powerfully strong waves. Skyflower Knight is over there right now and is fighting a battle. He is really there. Luo Feng could not contain his delight and continued heading towards the source of the aura. At a far distance away, there was a vast and spacious forest, and the battle was going on in that very forest. One look at the groups of knights from various races suspended in midair, and Luo Feng easily counted over 20. He flew high up into the sky of the vast, spacious forest and looked down from where he was. There were 3 figures below him. One was a figure covered in snow-white hair who looked exceptionally violent. His hands were holding 2 heavenly hammers, and with a formidable stance, he charged toward the other 2 great beings without inhibitions. The other 2 knights, with equally big godly bodies, were also holding their true treasures and retaliating. Luo Feng looked down and nodded his head. Demon Clan, Skyflower Knight. 9 Territory Alliance, Jiawei Horde Leader and 1000 Shadow Knight. No wonder no one is willing to give in. It turns out there are 2 universe overlords. Skyflower Knight may have been strong, but he was only strong in terms of his life gene level, which was as high as around 2,000 times. Jiawei Horde Leader and 1000 Island Knight's life gene levels were both 100 times. Their powers were obviously inferior by 1 level. However, they both had relatively large godly bodies, so the only disadvantage they had was that 1 level of difference. Jiawei Horde Leader was a fighter while 1000 Shadow Knight was a spirit reader. With both working hand in hand, they definitely made a worthy fight. They were not keen on defeating Skyflower Knight, they only wanted to buy some time, so that when the true treasure was fully emerged, they would be the first to snatch it away. Now that the senior true treasure, a blue-colored true treasure heavenly hammer, was already halfway out. The handle of the hammer was already fully exposed. The hammer's head was gradually emerging too. 1 top-tier universe overlord and 2 universe overlords. The true treasure will definitely be taken by either one of them. Just my luck. If there was only 1 universe overlord, I would still take the gamble. but 3 of them, one of whom is one top-tier universe overlord. High up in the sky, some other knights of different races were shaking their heads helplessly, not daring to intervene. Under Skyflower Knight's attacks, Jiawei Horde Leader and Thousand Shadow Knight could still put up a tough fight. As for them, mere universe knights, trying to fight him was rushing to their doom. Luo Feng was suspended high up in the air, looking down in silence. "Who is that?" someone said. "Not someone I know of, but his aura is pretty strong. And he is a lone wanderer, so it's highly possible that he is a universe overlord. Seems like this universe overlord is waiting for an opportunity." All the knights of different races started discussing among themselves. They were aware that from this level of fighting for the treasure, there would be no chance for them mere knights to intervene at all. "Jiawei Horde Leader and Thousand Shadow Knight, both of you want to snatch my treasure away?" Skyflower Knight roared. The blood-red vertical eye was incomparably fearsome and insane. "The true treasure that emerged this time is a heavenly hammer true treasure. Heavenly hammer is the weapon I wield, so this should belong to me. With the 2 of you trying to back me into a corner, do not blame me for not showing mercy. What bullshit! Both of us may not be your match, but if you think you can kill us easily, dream on. Should we both fear you?" Jiawei Horde Leader and Thousand Shadow Knight were extremely crazy. Jiawei Horde Leader never failed to put up tough resistance, while Thousand Island Knight would use his spiritual force to transform 1,000 phantoms that could envelop all of heaven and earth, thus pestering Skyflower Knight into a crazy frenzy. Skyflower Knight could only use his huge hammer to blast away their attacks. Yet Jiawei Horde Leader and Thousand Shadow Knight were not in a hurry at all. They were both waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the moment the true treasure was fully emerged, when they would snatch it away immediately. Time passed by. The 3 were in a continual state of crossfire, while the other knights high above watched without daring to intervene. Luo Feng, too, watched silently. "Almost. The true treasure will soon be born." The eyes of Jiawei Horde Leader and Thousand Shadow Knight lit up. "Thousand Island, our last chance. All depends on you." "Leave it to me," Thousand Shadow Knight said, his eyes filled with insanity. When it was time to fight, he just had to fight like crazy. Treasures had to be fought for. "Wanting this for yourselves is wishful thinking," Skyflower Knight roared. He made his way toward the treasure. He did not want to be so far away from it, but Jiawei Horde Leader and Thousand Shadow Knight were attacking aggressively. Their might was overwhelming. Every attack would end up with both sides retreating violently. And while they fought, Luo Feng had been gradually descending toward them. "The treasure is born! It's born!" In a split second, every knight in the air was electrified with excitement. Hua! Skyflower Knight, Jiawei Horde Leader, and Thousand Shadow Knight all reacted as one at the same time. They noticed a figure already swooping down from midair. Jiawei Horde Leader, Thousand Shadow Knight, Skyflower Knight, and Luo Feng had surrounded that godly hammer with their godly power. When that blue hammer showed up, all of them wanted to penetrate their godly power to make it recognize them as its master. However, none of them succeeded because of what happened with Seal Star. The sealing life imprint could not be disturbed. "Another asshole!" Skyflower Knight roared. "Scram! Don't think about it," said Thousand Shadow Knight, and moved all his 1,000 phantoms towards Skyflower Knight, trying to stop him. "Break!" Skyflower Knight waved his godly hammer and smashed all the phantoms. Those phantoms were actually flying blades with engravings on all of them. Law threads started to connect with each other, and the 1,000 blades became one. Although each of the flying blades was only a treasure, all of them combined made a senior true treasure. Hua! Luo Feng duplicated himself as well. One of them was a fiery towering being transformed from Masha body, while the other was the real Luo Feng, who broke out of a world ring. Luo Feng had 10,000 world rings like that after all. World energies were useless when it came to actual fighting, and the best way to show up was to break out of a world ring. To Luo Feng, breaking out of a world ring could smash the sky and land. Hong! Long! Long! Golden waves began tumbling and covered the vast forest. Jiawei Horde Leader, Thousand Shadow Knight, and Skyflower Knight were all affected by the resistance from the Golden River, which sharply slowed them down. The 9 strange beasts were surrounding the godly hammer and the boundless Golden River. All was silent. Skyflower Knight, Jiawei Horde Leader, and Thousand Shadow Knight all stopped. The 30 universe knights of other races were all looking down, dazed. They thought the 4 great beings might fight each other to the death, but they hadn't expected one of them to have a domain-type true treasure. That is, 9 Tiger River! It's 9 Tiger River! Luo Feng's 9 Tiger River! The domain type true treasure, 9 Tiger River! Luo Feng's here! All the universe knights of other races were shocked. A silver-armored and silver-winged youngster was walking on the golden waves. It was the human, Luo Feng! Luo Feng! It's Luo Feng! Skyflower Knight, Xiaowei Horde Leader, and Thousand Shadow Knight were all dazed. They never would have expected the legendary Luo Feng to come and take advantage in the end. The waves were churning. The 9 strange beasts surrounded the godly hammer and delivered it to Luo Feng. He took the godly hammer, and Masha body went back to the world ring. You fought so hard, but sorry, said Luo Feng. I'll take the true treasure. Luo Feng's godly body isolated himself from all the godly power outside and easily made the godly hammer recognize him as its master. Quick, let us go! Let us go! It's Luo Feng. We'll die if we don't leave soon enough. All the great beings of other races started to flee. Even Thousand Shadow Knight and Xiaowei Horde Leader exchanged panic-stricken eye contact. Luo Feng was too famous, and he had killed universe overlords before. Several universe overlords had died at his hands. Lives always came first. They both broke out of the waves and flew away. The moment Luo Feng showed himself, all the universe knights, including the 2 universe overlords, flew away. And only that top-tier universe overlord Skyflower Knight was still glaring at Luo Feng in the waves. Human Luo Feng! Skyflower Knight roared. You dared to show up on the original stars! Why not? Luo Feng chuckled in the waves. He knew that Skyflower Knight and other races would report to the powers behind them once he showed up. However, it was all part of his plan. Wonderful! Skyflower bent, and the soul red eye under the snowy hair looked madder. Perhaps they're afraid of you, but I'm not. You're a joke to me. Indeed, he didn't fear Luo Feng at all. He had a life gene level of 2,000 times. And also he had a much larger godly body than Luo Feng and a great advantage even if they were at a stalemate. A joke? Luo Feng grabbed the handle of the blood ghost blade on his back. He strolled over with the blade. I've killed universe overlords before, but I've never killed a top-tier universe overlord. I heard that even universe masters find it difficult to kill top-tier universe overlords. I want to try. You want to kill me? Skyflower Knight's eye went wide, as if he just heard the greatest joke in his life. Luo Feng nodded, and his voice resounded. Yes, I want to kill you. The universe knights of other races who had flown out of 9 Tiger River were all watching from a distance. They didn't need to be afraid of Luo Feng as long as they were far enough from him. They wouldn't miss a fight between 2 top-tier universe overlords. Update by Novelful.com. All of them were startled when they heard what Luo Feng said. Ha! What a joke! Roared Skyflower Knight. Even universe masters can't guarantee to kill me, let alone you. Luo Feng, let's show you how powerful a top-tier universe overlord actually is. Skyflower Knight dashed at Luo Feng with a godly hammer in each of his hands. Luo Feng held the blood ghost blade and smiled. All the universe knights of other races were watching the fight closely. They got close to each other quickly. 60,000 miles, 30,000 miles. Suddenly, Luo Feng stopped smiling. Instead, his eyes started to glint ferociously like an actual beast god. He shot forward like lightning. He lost his calmness and exploded like a volcano. He was much more forceful than his opposition. The godly hammer and blood ghost blade hit one another. Hong! Long! Luo Feng backed down 3 steps, while Skyflower Knight bounced away, yet he turned around in the sky and stopped. No wonder you were able to kill a universe overlord, said Skyflower Knight. You're indeed more powerful than me, but not by much. You can't even completely suppress me. Skyflower Knight had expected Luo Feng to be a bit more powerful than him. After all, Luo Feng could easily kill a universe overlord, which was something he found difficult to do. Yet Skyflower Knight now determined that Luo Feng was only slightly stronger than him. Really? Said Luo Feng. He held the blood ghost blade in his hand and walked towards Skyflower Knight on the waves. He had only performed the ultimate technique of a universe overlord. Level Mountain, and it was as powerful as the technique Skyflower Knight had. Ha! I'll see how long your godly body can last. Skyflower Knight took large steps forward, and the space was trembling. Luo Feng's eyes glinted coldly. He was just warming himself up, trying to test the power of Skyflower Knight. He concluded that he wouldn't be able to kill Skyflower Knight in short time if he used Golden Mountain and Golden River. He had to perform the ultimate technique of Universe Masters, Golden Light. All the Universe Knights were watching the fight. Zhao Wei Horde leader said, "Top-tier Universe Overlords are not only skilled, they have strong godly bodies too. Luo Feng can only be at a slight advantage. If they keep fighting, the human Luo Feng might actually..." Suddenly, he was dazed. All the 30-something Universe Knights who were talking quietly were dazed. Below them, a golden light shone, a gleaming golden glow. Sharp and cold. Pun! The godly hammer Skyflower Knight was wielding fell on his own body under the attack from the blade. The force from the blade's attack hit the senior true treasure armor and reached the limit of the armor. Skyflower Knight could hear the humming from the armor. How? Skyflower Knight's eyes glinted with shock and fear. Hong! Long! Long! Skyflower Knight bounced back. He was powerless under that shock wave. 11% gone? He gasped. How? Is he a Universe Master? Is he a Universe Master already? Skyflower Knight was shocked to his very core. His godly body was almost 60,000 miles tall, yet one attack took away 11% of his godly body. This was something that could only be accomplished by Universe Masters. Luo Feng had needed 2 attacks to kill Para Chopper Knight. Skyflower Knight had a senior true treasure armor, but his godly power, he was 20 times more powerful than Para Chopper Knight's. However, Luo Feng's godly power had become 100 times more powerful after becoming a Universe Knight, and the weapon he used had changed from cutting pearl blade to a top-tier true treasure weapon, Blood Ghost Blade. Hence, a senior true treasure armor was significantly weaker. One attack consumed 11% of his godly body. Meanwhile, all the Universe Knights could sense that the force of Skyflower Knight had weakened by at least 10%. One attack consumed 10% of a top-tier Universe Overlord's body? They were all stupefied. This was something only Universe Masters were capable of doing. When 2 beings of comparable powers were pitted against one another, the rebound force during a head-on confrontation would normally cause Luo Feng to reduce speed or fall backward. Yet, at that very moment, the difference was extreme. Luo Feng was using his ultimate technique of a Universe Master level as though he was truly a Universe Master. After one strike, he was hot on Skyflower Knight's heels right away, dealing another strike to the godly body of his opponent, which was already thrown a distance away. Not good, thought Skyflower Knight. One strike after the another, in 9 strikes, I will be completely annihilated. Skyflower Knight no longer had the time to feel shocked over the fact that Luo Feng had become a Universe Master. To him, the utmost concern at the moment was escaping for dear life. White Needle! Right behind Skyflower Knight, a huge, white, shuttle-shaped object suddenly appeared. It was approximately 600 miles long, all white, and was extremely shiny and smooth. It took the shape of a shuttle, and once it appeared, it flew straight towards Skyflower Knight, who happened to accelerate in the direction of the shuttle-shaped object upon receiving a second strike from Luo Feng. He immediately aimed for the entrance and inserted himself into the white shuttle-shaped object. After entering the flying shuttle, Skyflower Knight heaved a sigh of relief. I was almost killed by Luo Feng, he said. Skyflower Knight's blood-red eye behind his snow-white hair was filled with trepidation. Too powerful! When Luo Feng first started using his power, it was only a fragment of his full power. He is holding back on what he truly is capable of. Thereafter, that explosive display of power, it was totally on the level of a Universe Master. Scheming, continued Skyflower Knight. He is so scheming. That one strike, it was so fast I didn't have time to dodge, so strong I didn't have the power to ward off, and so mysterious that it was unfathomable. I shall never be able to comprehend it. This is the technique of a Universe Master, and I'm afraid it might be the ultimate technique of a Universe Master. Only a Universe Master will be capable of creating such a technique, and only a Universe Master is capable of injuring me. This Luo Feng must have become a Universe Master and kept it under wraps. Skyflower Knight was anxious yet getting emotional. Luckily, when I was contributing valuables to the race, I chose White Needle during the exchange of true treasure and not the top-tier true treasure armor. Skyflower Knight sighed to himself. As a top-tier Universe Knight, his wealth was far more sizable than an ordinary Universe Overlord after countless years of accumulation. Furthermore, he had wandered about the Universe Ocean for a long time. There were many kinds of treasures, and during the opening of the original star this time, he naturally wanted to exchange with his race to earn an important true treasure for self-protection. At that time, he had two choices. One was to exchange for a top-tier true treasure armor in the human race. 100 true treasure points would suffice, or two, to change for a senior flying palace type true treasure in the human race. The minimum amount for this would be around 200 true treasure points. Obviously, a flying palace type true treasure was more expensive, but he had gritted his teeth and made the decision to pay the price for that flying palace type true treasure. I made the right choice, he said. If I had chosen the top-tier true treasure armor, my defense may have been strong, but Luo Feng's attacks were scary. Even with a top-tier true treasure armor, one strike would be able to injure me by at least a fraction of 1,000. This Luo Feng had me backed into a corner. Should I have been struck 1,000 times, I would have had no chance of escaping annihilation. Skyflower Knight heaved a sigh of relief as he hid in his flying palace-type true treasure. Here, he was safe and did not need to feel scared. Nine Tiger River was mighty and majestic. Luo Feng stood on its golden waves and looked afar at the white, flying shuttle that was hovering in mid-air. His expression changed involuntarily. A flying palace-type true treasure! Ha ha! Luo Feng, a voice said, transmitted from the white flying shuttle. I admire you. You are absolutely a genius, and out of all the billions of races in this vast universe, you are indeed the cream of the crop. Within such a short period of time, when other great beings have thought of you as a top-tier universe overlord, they would never have suspected that you had already become a universe master. If not for this flying palace-type true treasure, I think today would have been my last. Ha! But now, I think it is just your luck. Just my luck, Luo Feng said, glaring at that white flying shuttle. Furious? Very angry? Skyflower Knight's shrill voice mocked, transmitted over from that white flying shuttle. But what can you do to me when I am in this flying palace? Even if you were tens or hundreds of times stronger, the most you could do would be to stare helplessly. Luo Feng did feel that he had made a blunder. He had made elaborate preparations for the battle to fame, this time. He had devised counteractions for various possible unforeseen circumstances. He might have proven his capabilities, as witnessed by the numerous great beings watching the fight from afar, and Skyflower Knight did admit that Luo Feng was indeed powerful, but after all this, one of the worst possible situations he had calculated had happened. Skyflower Knight owned a flying palace-type true treasure. In summation, there was no way he could make a clean kill and get rid of Skyflower Knight. This battle would not end conclusively. As for the question of whether he could force open the white flying shuttle, Luo Feng had no intentions of trying. A flying palace-type true treasure was the sturdiest type out of all treasures of the same level. Such treasures were the best at warding off material attacks. An ordinary flying palace-type true treasure, in terms of its degree of sturdiness, was comparable to that of a senior true treasure armor. A senior flying palace-type true treasure was thus comparable to a top-tier true treasure armor. Like Sky Wolf Master's Sky Wolf Palace, which was also a senior flying palace-type true treasure, it belonged to the minority of top-notch treasures, which, by the human race's exchange rates, was worth about 800 to 900 true treasure points. With it, Skywolf Master was able to run rampant about the universe. Even Primal Chaos City Leader and 9 Remoteness Master were unable to force Skywolf Palace apart. This flying shuttle was only slightly inferior to Skywolf Palace, but it was enough to run rampant in the universe. The majority of Universe Masters would not be able to do anything to it. Update by Novelful.com. Skyflower Knight, who owned such a flying palace-type true treasure, usually could only depend on soul attacks. But Luo Feng was not skilled in launching soul attacks. Humph! So, Luo Feng put 9 Tiger River right away, transformed into light, and accelerated into space. Trying to escape, said Skyflower Knight. The white flying shuttle followed closely and quickly. Luo Feng and the white flying shuttle dashed through the sky, one after the other, while knights of different races watched from afar, dumbfounded. He actually had a flying palace-type true treasure. Skyflower Knight said that Luo Feng is a universe master. Of course he is a universe master. How strong he is! If he is not a universe master, what else can he be? Even a top-tier universe overlord lost 10% of his godly body with just one strike from Luo Feng. Other than a universe master, who could be that powerful? Skyflower Knight, are you sure you want to shadow me like this? Luo Feng said, looking behind him. Yes, said the voice from the white flying shuttle voiced. I have you under my watchful eye. There is no escape for you. Luo Feng swept one look at the gigantic white flying shuttle behind him, which was really something that he could not tackle. He was aware that the automaton race, bug soldiers, and demons had always been looking for information about his movements, so Skyflower Knight would naturally be tracking down his exact coordinates and promptly informing the higher-ups of his demon clan everything he knew about Luo Feng. Playing big? Thought Luo Feng. I'm afraid it is time to depend on the 9th volume now. Luo Feng's eyes flashed with traces of murderous intention. At the territory of Demon Clan, in the Dream Ancestor's secret region, the body that Skyflower Knight left within his race was rapidly brought back to the Dream Ancestor's secret region by a servant of God Country Transportation. Upon arriving at Dream Ancestor's secret region, he immediately connected to virtual space with his consciousness. Like the automaton race, the Demon Clan also created a virtual world of their own. Even for Earth, a simple virtual space, Palace of War Gods, was previously created, and it was merely based on a simple thought. To achieve the far-reaching influence that spread throughout the universe like the virtual universe, where all the laws were adhered to, was a difficult feat, yet if the area of virtual space was small and solely used for communication of information, that was much simpler and more achievable. The Demon Clan had such a virtual space. It was an area that enveloped the Dream Ancestor's secret region. Within the virtual space of the Demon Clan, amidst the clouds and mist, a group of towering white palaces were in continuous sequence. These were the residences of the Dream Ancestors. Among the clouds and mist, a long table was occupied by 9 figures. Above 8 of them was a large silvery white snake that was coiled up into a pen-shaped position. The snake's body was stretched outward into the distance, and amidst all the clouds and mist, it was hovering between being visible and remaining hidden. It was, nonetheless, a looming and massive figure. The other 8 figures were also comprised of an array of forms and looks. Obviously, these were all noble beings of the Demon Clan. Teacher. Skyflower Knight appeared out of nowhere, a body cloaked with snow-white hair. He bowed with unmatched reverence. The head of the silvery white snake looked over. You said you discovered Luo Feng and even mentioned that he was a universe master? Yes. Skyflower Knight replied. At that point in time, most of the other 8 universe masters seated around the table started voicing their thoughts loudly. Liar! That human Luo Feng cannot possibly have become a universe master so quickly. Impossible! Skyflower Knight continued. This is the truth. I have seen and tested him myself. If not for my flying palace-type true treasure, White Needle, which I earlier exchanged for with the race, I'm afraid I would have been annihilated by him. Impossible. To kill you, he must definitely have the power of a universe master. How long has he been cultivating himself? It seems impossible. The universe masters were still unwilling to believe what they had just heard. Only Dream Demon Ancestor remained silent as he observed their reactions. Skyflower Knight immediately said, Words alone are useless. I shall let you all see the situation at that time. Then you all will clearly believe my words. With that, Skyflower Knight looked toward the sky and recalled everything that he had undergone. The scenes reenacted in his memory and were replayed as a simulation of the actual event from the beginning to end. From the start of his fight against Jiawei Horde leader and Thousand Shadow Knight. Silence. All the universe masters watched with undivided attention. Billions of years of common knowledge told them that it was impossible to become a universe master in such a short cultivation period. Otherwise, one would be impossibly powerful. The simulation ended. All the universe masters remained silent for a moment. They all could tell the truth from the blows exchanged between Luo Feng and Skyflower Knight. For the first strike, the difference between the power of the two was not obvious. However, when Luo Feng served up his second attack, he brought forth such an immediate upsurge of power so strong that it caused Skyflower Knight to lose 10% of his godly body right away. The only missing detail that they could not see from the simulated scenes was how the incredible yet mysterious strike was dealt. Skyflower Knight did not know how Luo Feng had done it, so naturally, he was unable to replicate the exact nature of the move. One strike that could cause a split straight away. Just by posture alone, it was impossible to create a 100% simulation. That would be totally pointless. The true essence lay with the beast god path, the path that could stir up and actuate countless law engravings. This was a scene from memory that could not be simulated. Luckily, I hid in my flying palace, Skyflower Knight said solemnly. If not, I would have been annihilated. Not necessarily, Dream Demon Ancestor said, finally speaking up. Luo Feng may not necessarily be a universe master. When he was only an undying, he fought and killed Bark Mirror Emperor when he was a universe knight. His godly body must already have been stronger than yours. With such a strong godly body, he must have chanced upon a unique opportunity, or even been bestowed with a talent technique, or he could have obtained a talent technique that was comparable to an ultimate technique of a universe master. The other universe masters nodded. Have you ever seen him controlling a part of time and space? Dream Demon Ancestor asked. No, Skyflower Knight shook his head. Just one stance of a powerful technique, said Dream Demon Ancestor. That may be a talent technique. Unless he is able to display two techniques, then one of them must be his own creation. Dream Demon Ancestor shook his head. Furthermore, you are still not powerful enough to make a correct identification. Only through a battle with him would a universe master will be able to clearly judge whether or not he is a universe master. Are you tracking him now? Yes, Skyflower Knight immediately added. He will not be able to escape. I am tracking him down, for sure, the silvery white snake went on to say. I will contact the automaton race and bug soldiers. This time around, with the joint efforts of the three races, we must eradicate Luo Feng.